Hey Ranger Nation, so today is going to be Beast Morphers episode 10 review, which is Thrills and Drills. This video will contain spoilers because this episode has not aired in America at the moment of this time of recording, but it has been done in Australia, so this will contain big spoilers because it's a review. Now, I will say that the sun keeps changing, so dear God, it's just the light changing. So, without further ado, let's begin this review. And if you like this style of video, then hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as the cheeky notification bell to be notified when more videos drop. And yeah, let's just jump straight into this review. We open up with Evox and Scruzzle, and they're talking about making either Roxy or Blaze stronger. And they also want to use the powers that the Rangers have, so the Cheetah Speed, the Gorilla Ape, and the Rabbit Jack power to actually power them up, and this is a great idea. So they use these data chips that get that will be attached to the monsters, and then therefore that they'll gain the ability, they'll kind of download the data. Now, I am going to be curious on this one, is when they do get all this information, will it give them the kind of weaknesses as well? So if, say, for example, if Blaze or Roxy start using the gorilla strength, would they get overheated? You know, if they see a dog, will they freeze? I don't know, but I think that'd be interesting. Or it could just be literally all the best parts from it, put it straight in. Who knows? I'm very much looking forward to seeing this. I kind of really do like the idea of Blaze and Roxy actually becoming kind of more Rangers. They've got the kind of morphing ability. Actually having something like this could actually give them the advantage, and I can't wait. I'm guessing it's all going to go to Blaze much later on, though. This also brings in a lot of good elements of, you know, who wants the power more. So does this mean that there's going to be some backstabbing? You know, are they going to be friends? You know, are they going to help each other? And I kind of like in the scene when Roxy kind of leaves, Blaze turns around and goes like, you know, good luck, Roxy, you're going to need it, or all the help you're going to get. I generally like this because there feels something kind of sinister. Now jump to the scene with the Rangers kind of practicing and training with each other, but we see that Ravi hits his side of his cheek constantly, and then we switch to Ben and Betty, which at the moment they're kind of training as well. Ben decides to kind of up the power of the treadmill. We come back to the Rangers training, and again when we see certain punches, it kind of throws Ravi off completely because of his tooth, where he's like going, oh, so the pain kind of affects him, which is generally a nice way of looking at this because we don't normally see anything like this at all. And I generally think that this is something that makes the series more believable, that if you've got pain, like, oh, I've got toothache, I can still fight, then it's not going to work. But, you know, obviously since he has, and he's cradling it, and it's like, oh my God. So we find that Ravi is scared of dentists. He doesn't like this whatsoever, and this is kind of the theme for the episode. I generally kind of like this in a way because it's one of those things of like, you can get over your fear. And it kind of reminded me of Mighty Morphin, where Trinni was scared of heights, Billy was scared of fish, and it was nice to have this. I don't know, I think it was just a nice kind of throwback. We don't really normally see it that much. Ravi says that he is scared of going to the dentist, and Nate can relate to him and say, hey, I'm scared of spiders, so you know I can see this. And you think, oh, okay, we know what's happening. The Rangers are now called away to downtown. Roxy is down there and she's causing mayhem. So the Rangers all kind of rush off. Now we see Roxy actually in the park, and she takes this drill from the guy, and how did the guy not know? You know, he's just casually working away. It's like, Roxy, why are you taking the drill? Okay, that's fine. We can live with this. So she basically creates the monster, which is Drillitron. I think it's Drillitron. With this, the Rangers now turn up. Ravi's still hurting in his tooth, and then we get our first proper morph with the entire team, and obviously we get the kind of like little boxes and stuff around. Roxy also morphs as well into her battle suit, and the fight begins. But within this, Ravi can't really do much, and his more focus is on his tooth than it is at any other point. As the fight kind of goes on, we've got the chip on the back of the monster that can actually take the data from the fight and actually turn it into what they need, and we get kind of a nice longish fight. But, well, not longish, kind of a quickish fight, shall I say. With this, Roxy and Drillitron just dig into the ground and they disappear, and the Rangers are kind of wondering what's going on. At this point, Ravi is so in pain with his tooth, he is told to go to the dentist, and he heads off to the dentist with Ben and Betty, and they're just kind of sitting there, kind of going like, oh, what's going on with this? Oh no, What am I going to do? And we kind of see some sort of play on this one. So in the scene, Ravi is kind of looking over and we see this complete door with a silhouette of a guy with a big drill and obviously is drilling in, and you can hear some sort of screaming or like going, ah, you know, and then obviously Ben, Betty and Ravi are all kind of run away, they escape and they leave the office, and then we see what actually happens, and it's a kind of a utility man, basically someone that's drilling into a shelving unit or cabinet that's made it, and obviously his football team or his sports team has lost the match, and that's the reason why they're screaming. The Rangers are now looking for Roxy and Drillatron. They're kind of searching the city in the Zords. Ravi is still kind of walking away from the dentist, and then also we have Nate and Steel that are looking around the city. They decide to actually search underground because no one can see them about, so that would make the perfect kind of hiding hole, you know, the hiding space for it. With this, they find like there's some sort of stuff going on, and they need to go to like kind of I think it's like a drainage system underground which spans the entire city. So Ravi is the only one that can actually meet up, and Steel goes with them as well. I was gonna say he stays, but no, he follows. We see lots of cobwebs at this place, and Nate knows exactly what he's gonna find, but he kind of like he takes his fear and he just plows on because he knows that this is more important. We know what's going to happen. There's going to be a spider, which it is. So they find Roxy and Drillatron down in the basement where they're underneath a Morph X facility. So you kind of think that there would be more places around that actually is more security because it's a big thing. As they kind of find out, Drillatron is going to drill up and take all the Morph X and send it back to the cyber dimension. As Drillatron is drilling through, Roxy turns around and talks to Scruzzle and says, hey, could you send a Giga Drone to kind of distract the Rangers, send it far away so no one can see? And this happens. Scruzzle sends the Giga Drone down and the Rangers head off to fight it, but Nate, Ravi and Steel are still in the basement, and as the camera pans down you see a cheeky spider on Nate's shoulder, which is that one from the previous episode, you know, where Nate's like, oh my god, I'm not doing it, when he's getting the mantis DNA and stuff like that. So Nate conquers his fear, he takes the spider off and releases it somewhere else. The Rangers and Roxy morph into their suits and the fight happens underground, and it was perfect in this scene because I've never seen something like this and I really wish they carried on with it. We see a very quick scene of the Giga Drone being sent to the city, and all of a sudden out of nowhere we then come down to the city where Ravi, Nate, Steel, Roxy and the monster all jump up, burst out of the kind of the floor, and they all start fighting around. And I do generally like this because it was a nice kind of longish scene, but not too long where you get a little bit bored. Ravi uses his power and the data chip gets all the data from it, so now they have the gorilla kind of power, or the strength thing that Ravi has. Devon and Zoe don't know what's going on. They can't see the Giga Drone, and all of a sudden they're attacked from down below. Now this does kind of like switch a lot between the scenes. So we get fighting with Roxy, then we get more Megazord fights, or kind of Zord fights, and nothing can be done. So Ravi can't get away because he's fighting the monster head on, and Nate and Steel are kind of fighting the Tronics as well as Roxy. In the end, Ravi destroys the monster. Nate and Steel are still taking on Tronics, defeated them willy-nilly, but then are still fighting Roxy. In the end, Ravi just joins up with Devon and Zoe. They form the Megazord, they take down the Giga Drone in this episode. They use the kind of weapons to bring it out from the earth, and then they just destroy it. Nate and Steel finally defeat all the Tronics in the area, and Roxy just disappears. She decides that that's enough and she's just gonna like disappear completely. The Rangers all turn up and they all demorph, and Ravi is like, ow, my tooth, it still hurts. And then they're like, oh, you gotta go to the dentist. And Ravi's like, yeah, I've got this. You know, Nate, you conquered your fear on this one, so I'm gonna conquer my fear. And he heads off to the dentist. Back in the cyber dimension, Roxy hands over the data chip towards Scruzzle, and she wants the upgrade now. She wants to be the person that will have the gorilla DNA, or the kind of power up data. And Scruzzle says, no, you know, we've got to get all of them. And then we switch back to Ravi at the dentist kind of waiting. He goes in, he gets his teeth fixed. When Ravi comes out from the dentist, all the Rangers are there to greet him, and then he tries to scare Nate with a spider, like a fake one, but then Nate turns it around on Ravi and they all laugh because Nate actually got him. It's like, ha ha ha. And then we come to the end of the episode. Now, I have got to admit, I generally did like this episode. It felt like it flowed a lot more than the previous episodes, and this is a really good episode to kind of come back on. Now, we've had one episode previously to kind of bring things back into it, but this one feels like they kind of got their footing, their kind of pace on this one, and I think that's what I really like. I do also like the fact that they're concentrating on Roxy quite a lot more, rather than just her being a side character. It kind of feels like Blaze is the side character in this one, where he doesn't really fight that much. You know, he throws on his moodiness, and then Roxy is the only one that goes out and actually does like all the fighting. And I like this. I like the fact that they are concentrating on her. So I kind of would like her to get all the updates, but I know that it will be Blaze who will get it in the end, or he will steal it from her and things will go down. One of the things that I would have liked to have seen more was that kind of really close-knit fighting in the sewers. There wasn't a lot of space in this, so you couldn't throw out a fight, you know, so obviously seeing something like limiting the moves where you couldn't do a kick or you couldn't throw a punch properly, I would have loved to have seen that more than anything, and that would have made things like kind of interesting for me to actually continue watching the episode. But see where you have like a start of a fight and then all of a sudden they kind of break up and go onto the surface. But it was generally nice to see different camera angles, different environments than considering what we've had all the time. So yeah, I generally really like this episode. Now, Ranger Nation, your question of the day is, what do you think about this? Are you happy that you are watching this? Have you seen it? Or are you going to wait until it shows on American TV or on the UK? Let me know down below in the comments. And if you've liked this video, like, favorite, comment, and consider subscribing. Check that cheeky notification bell to be notified when more videos drop. And as always, Ranger Nation, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a bit.